Ole Gunnar Solskjaer must have been expecting the worst after seeing his side concede 2 quick goals in the first half of their Champions League group stage game against Atalanta at Old Trafford. Both goals could have been avoided, but then again, that's the state of the club these days. Despite spending a lot of money on new players this summer, Manchester United are far from looking like a team expected to compete for league titles. Cristiano Ronaldo was brought to the club in order to score goals. A lot of media outlets have been talking about how the Portuguese forward's return should coincide with the club returning to its glory days, when winning league titles under Sir Alex Ferguson was a recurring theme of pretty much every season. Now, a lot of people will argue that things have changed since then, and that there are more competitive teams around than there were during those days. However, this couldn't be further from the truth. Sir Alex Ferguson also faced a lot of tough tasks during his managerial time at the Theatre of Dreams. The arrival of Roman Abramovich meant that Chelsea were the new force in English football. Under Jose Mourinho, the Blues won back-to-back league titles, and then Manchester City were transformed from a team that was accustomed to playing boring football in the lower rungs of English football pyramid to an all-conquering beast in England. United still continued to win titles. In fact, even when Ronaldo left for Real Madrid, it wasn't as if there was a deficit of silverware at the club. The Red Devils kept winning. But then the day arrived when Sir Alex decided to take his ride into the sunset. Perhaps the legendary Scot took all the light with him, because since then the club is nothing but a husk of an entity that's living off its glory days. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has seemingly turned things around, but if we're being honest, the Norwegian might have maxed out in terms of how much further he can take the club. Don't get us wrong, Solskjaer has done a commendable job at the club, and has done all the things that he promised he would when he replaced Jose Mourinho a couple of seasons back. The cultural reboot has happened. The environment in the dressing room is great, and deadwood has been strategically removed. However, the most important thing hasn't happened so far. Ole said a few years back that he would be successful at the club, but so far the club is nowhere near winning some silverware. Okay, things are heating up, so go ahead and subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to stay notified on all our latest videos. If you'd like us to discuss anything in particular, make sure to let us know in the comments. Before we start telling the tale of Ronaldo and how he's expected to guide the team to a more prosperous era, we need to get a couple of major points of discussion out of the way. By the time this video reaches you, the first Clásico of the season might already be over, but for the first time in years, this legendary battle between two of the most successful sides in Spanish football isn't looking like the box office attraction that it used to. If you look at the numbers of both sides, there's a lot of elements missing. Retirements and departures of some players over the last decade have transformed what was a true all-star game into an encounter that has a lot less magic about it. Both teams are struggling with finances, and the drop in the level of play has not escaped anyone's attention. Barcelona have made a fairly complicated start to the season. On an institutional level, they've suffered, while Ronald Koeman has also suffered on the field, getting hammered for his choice of personnel and tactical preferences. As for Carlo Ancelotti, the start has been pretty decent, and there's more enthusiasm in Madrid. However, the fire has subsided in recent weeks, giving way to some concerns, with defence being a particular issue. Another thing that settles the hype around this encounter is that both teams are in transition, and so far this season they haven't really found their rhythm. But then again, it is the Clásico, and we'd be fools not to watch it. But whoever wins the encounter will definitely have much more to look forward to. While Romelu Lukaku takes some time off from the game and waits to get back to his best, the Blues aren't deep in the trenches. Thomas Tuchel's men had no problem dismantling a woeful Norwich side that's destined for the drop. 7 goals they scored against Daniel Farke's side, as the German tactician cut a stoic figure at the dugout, just a few feet from Tuchel, with whom he'd worked during their time at Borussia Dortmund. Tuchel could not call upon Timo Werner, who watched the game from the stands while nursing a thigh injury. Instead, Kai Havertz filled in, playing in the false 9 position. The youngster was unable to find the net, but his positioning was impeccable and forced the Norwich defenders out of position. This allowed Mason Mount a lot of creative freedom, and the English international opened the scoring. Almost every player who normally doesn't get on the scoresheet managed to get something out of the game. Jorginho was everywhere, putting in yet another masterful performance. The Italian did everything perfectly, made recoveries, launched some really great attacks, and scored a brace. The result means that Chelsea are on top of the league standings and will look to continue to pick up crucial wins. Is this team ready for a title assault? On current form, they're firing on all cylinders. Alright, so back to the main topic of today's video. This summer, Manchester United's biggest focus was to bring in reinforcements in two key areas: defence and attack. Raphael Varane arrived for a bargain deal, and the Frenchman has been really good. Sadly, he was injured during the international break and is a few weeks away from a return to the starting lineup. Jadon Sancho was finally brought back to England after a 2-year chase. The next task was to replenish the midfield. The midfield duo of Scott McTominay and Fred has not won over anyone, and it's clear that United need a really elite player for this position. All good teams have those players. Chelsea have got N'Golo Kante, Bayern Munich have Leon Goretzka, Leicester City have Wilfred Ndidi, and the list goes on. It was very surprising to see that United didn't show any visible interest to address what is a key area. Now, we're wading into the what-if territory, but they could have done it this summer had they not fallen into the trap of signing an aging yet world-class player. Cristiano Ronaldo was not happy at Juventus and wanted to experience something different. Manchester City were reportedly eager to sign him up, since Pep Guardiola also needed a recognised striker following the departure of Sergio Aguero. United knew the PR fiasco it would cause if one of their own joined the blue side of Manchester. Therefore, it was understandable to see them quickly finalise a return to Old Trafford. On the face of it, the arrival of Ronaldo means that Manchester United possess one of the strongest attacks in Europe, and on paper, they should be playing an exciting brand of football that guarantees loads of goals. An attack boasting the talents of Mason Greenwood, Marcus Rashford and Ronaldo, ably backed by Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba, should be able to unlock defences easily. But that's only in theory. The cold hard reality is that Manchester United are still the same team that can beat the best in the business on any given day, only to whimper against teams that they should beat a few days later. This was quite an issue last season and continues to be this time around. When we're done publishing this article, United will have played against Liverpool on Sunday. And what a game it was. However, even if they did win the game, it would have likely only been about a moment of individual brilliance than anything else. And who can blame us for thinking like that? United have become a team that tends to rely on individual efforts to get all 3 points, instead of going out there on the field as a tactically disciplined side that knows what it's doing. And this is where the Ronaldo debate comes. The Portuguese legend is going to score goals for them, but the problem is that his arrival has already altered the team's playing style. Last season, the Red Devils were a high-pressing team where their furthest forward would lead the charge. This resulted in them winning back possession quickly and then launching an attacking move. But this season, it's all changed. With Ronaldo spearheading the attack, United no longer work hard to win back possession. The former Real Madrid man is not that type of player, and throughout his career, he's never been known for pressing higher up the pitch. That's not his fault, of course. Ronaldo's current strengths lie in being in the right place at the right time, and there's no one better at that than him. Age has no role in this because Edinson Cavani is almost the same age, but the Uruguayan is perhaps the hardest working striker around. Of course, after listening to what we just said, you'll be thinking whether we're crazy or if United really made the right call to make a move for Ronaldo when they clearly had other priorities. Ronaldo was brought in to help the team win titles, and no amount of sugarcoating can hide that fact. However, the 36-year-old was never supposed to do everything on his own. He's currently playing in a side that has serious tactical issues that have already been exposed by Leicester City and Atalanta, and will continue to if Ole doesn't make things right. It would have been a more practical approach had the club signed a midfielder as well. At the end of the day, you can criticise Ronaldo all you want, but the facts can't be changed. United knew the type of player they were signing, and it wasn't as if they didn't know how to get the best out of him. Unfortunately, the lack of a proper defensive midfielder who can defend and pick out a pass is what's hurting not just Ronaldo, but the entire offensive line. And as long as this issue persists, we'll see this team start games in a manner that understandably frustrates fans.